Go ahead and get started.
Welcome, folks, to our annual Christmas Eve. In this year's play, What of Santa Claus? We find ourselves in the living room of Santa Claus's house on Christmas Eve.
As the scene opens, Santa Claus is sitting in his big chair in front of the fireplace. He is wearing his traditional costume, but he has his shoes and socks off. His feet are stuck into a basin of hot water. He is huddled down in a big blanket which has been thrown around his shoulders. At the side of his chair, a table with several bottles of medicine with large, plainly marked labels. Cough medicine, sneeze medicine, and pills for chills. Santa looks very miserable and begins to sneeze.
Achoo! Achoo! Achoo!
Mrs. Santa rushes in carrying a big blanket.
Santa, there you go sneezing again. You ought to be in bed.
Bed? How can you talk about bed when it's Christmas Eve? I ought to be getting ready for my trip.
Here, put this blanket around you.
Mrs. Claus, I will not be coddled in this fashion. I'm going to get up out of this chair.
Santa starts to get up out of his chair, but Mrs. Claus stops him.
You certainly are not. In your condition, you need all the rest you can get.
Now listen here, Mrs. Claus. Who's the boss around here? Who wears the trousers in this household?
Oh dear, you are so funny when you're cross, but I don't mind. You are usually such a merry old soul. Now please, sit still.
Mrs. Claus, I will not be...
Santa starts sneezing again.
Achoo!
There, you see what happens when you get excited? You better take some of your sneeze medicine.
Mrs. Claus gives Santa some medicine, and he makes an awful face.
Awful stuff. After this, I'm not going to consider that the children are bad if they don't like to take medicine. I don't blame them.
Feeling Santa's hand, Mrs. Claus says,
And your hands are like ice. You better take some chill pills too.
she gives him a big dose, and he sneezes again.
Achoo! You see, all this medicine, it's making me worse. How much longer have I got to sit here dangling my feet in this hot water? I ought to be down in the workshop. The elves are good workers, but without me to direct them, they are apt to get into mischief. Why don't they come up here and report?
He turns his head and shouts for his elves.
Dingle! Dingle! Winky! Blinky!
Stop shouting, my dear.
Santa ignores Mrs. Claus, lifts one foot out of the pan as to get up, and yells again.
Holly! Jolly! Mistletoe!
Stop it, you'll lose your voice. And don't take your feet out of that hot water.
It isn't hot anymore. It's getting cold.
Well, the elves are bringing you more.
What's that? Just as I thought. When they ought to be down in the workshop getting things ready, packing the sleigh.
Now, all of them are, except Jingle and Dingle. But I don't see much sense to it if you can't go on your trip.
Can't go? Woman, what are you talking about? Don't you realize it's Christmas Eve? What would Christmas be without Santa Claus? I've got millions and millions of presents to deliver.
Nonsense. You can't go climbing down chimneys tonight. Not in your condition. Think of all the ashes and soot. Why, you'd be sneezing all the dust up in your nose.
Santa starts sneezing again.
Achoo!
And besides, you'd wake up all the children with your sneezing.
Well, so what? Maybe some of the boys and girls would like to see Santa Claus for a change.
They never recognize you. Where are your twinkling eyes and the dimples they always talk about? You're an awful humor. And besides, your nose is red.
My nose is always red. It's supposed to be.
But a cheerful red, not a fiery red. Here, you better blow it. And don't look like such a martyr. I'm only trying to make you feel better.
Two elves, Jingle and Dingle, enter carrying a tea kettle of hot water and a big box labeled mustard. They look at Santa and shake their heads.
Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, Santa has the sniffles. It's very sad to see. If Santa has the sniffles, what Christmas will there be?
Achoo!
Jingle, Dingle, stop that nonsense. Now, quick, the hot water, the mustard.
The elves run to Santa. Jingle pours some hot water in the pan, and Dingle sprinkles some mustard into it from a box. Santa starts to pull his feet out of the pan and then jerks them out them quickly as the elves pour in the hot water.
Ouch, ouch, it's hot, it's hot. Get out of here, both of you.
But Mr. Santa, we're only trying to make you well.
You ought to be down in the workshop, both of you. Packing dolls, packing drums, packing candy.
Yes, sir, we'll go at once, sir.
And send Winky and Blinky up here. I want to report on how things are going. It's getting late. I'll have to start soon.
Yes, sir.
Jingle and Dingle run out to fetch Winky and Blinky.
You will not stir an inch out of this house until you're better. It's snowing harder and it's colder than ever. I stuck my head out the door once and got icicles in my hair.
What's new about that? It's always cold at the North Pole.
But it's worse tonight.
All the more reason to let me go. I could soon be in a warmer climate.
Yes, and catch double pneumonia. Sudden changes are bad for people with the sniffles.
Oh, stop fussing. Why did I have to catch this cold anyhow?
It's your own fault. I told you not to go out last night in the sleigh.
But I had to exercise the reindeer. Dancer and Prancer are getting fat, and Comet and Cupid and the rest of them are getting lazy. They have to be in shape for tonight.
I could have exercised the reindeer.
You, Mrs. Santa Claus, a woman?
Women are doing lots of things these days. All kinds of jobs. It beats me. You go out into the world every year, and I still know more what's going on out there than you do.
That's because you're always listening to the radio.
Yes, and I think I'll turn it on now, Santa. It'll take your mind off things.
Mrs. Claus goes across the room and switches on the radio. Immediately, you hear strange strains of jingle bells.
Take my mind off.
Twas the night before Christmas, when all throughout the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
What did I tell you? All the children are expecting me. They're waiting now. They're waiting for Christmas to begin. Turn that thing off. It makes me nervous.
I'll switch to another station.
She does, and another voice comes on.
Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. He exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist. And you know that they abound and give to your life its highest beauty and joy.
That's what the New York Sun wrote to that little girl so long ago.
Alas, how dreary the world would be if there was no Santa Claus.
Certainly it would be dreary. Of course it would be dreary.
Oh dear, I better turn it off.
Mrs. Claus gets up again and switches off the radio.
I'd like to listen. It's so beautiful, but it's making you nervous.
Naturally, at a time like this, don't you see, if I don't get started on my trip soon, people won't believe in me anymore. They'll think there isn't any Santa Claus.
Or perhaps if you didn't go this year, they'd appreciate you more than ever. After all, you've never missed a Christmas before.
And I'm not going to miss this one. Where are those elves? I thought I told them.
Just then, Winky and Blinky run in, interrupting Santa.
Here we are, Santa. I'm Winky. I'm Blinky.
Never mind. What difference does it make if I can't tell you apart? How are things in the workshop? All finished? What about dolls, drums, candy canes, sleds, and Xbox games?
There are millions of sleds, and there's millions of drums. And millions of dolls and sugar cones.
Have you got some red-headed dolls?
Oh yes, Santa Claus.
Some of the little girls like red-headed dolls.
And Holly and Jolly have given all the dolls ornaments this year. Then, if the little girls take them out of the rain, the dolls don't use their curly hair.
Fine. And what about ponies?
The ponies have already been sent on ahead. They're waiting in neighbors' barns all over the country.
Well, I need some long ribbons, yards and yards.
What for?
Well, you can't put a live pony on a Christmas tree, so I'll loop a ribbon around its neck and then run the ribbon through a window and tie it to a tree with a knot.
Wonderful. Great idea.
Excuse me, but it's very foolish making all those plans, Santa Claus, when you know as well as I do.
Suddenly, two other elves, Holly and Jolly, dash in.
I'm Holly. I'm Jolly. And we have come to say that we finished packing all the toys. You can soon be on your way.
Santa, I told you there's no use.
Another interruption as Jingle and Dingle run in from outside with snowflakes all over them.
I'm Jingle. I'm Dingle. I'm Holly. I'm Jolly. I'm Blinky. I'm Blinky. I'm Mistletoe. I've been putting on the sleigh bells. Did you hear them ring? Oh, the sound makes me so happy I could barely sing.
All the elves begin dancing around the room.
I'm Jingle. I'm Dingle.
I'm Holly.
I'm Jolly. I'm Blinky. I'm Blinky. And I'm Mistletoe.
Oh,
We made the toys the whole year through for every girl and boy. And now it's time for Christmas for happiness and joy.
Santa, catching their excitement, tries to get up from the chair.
Yes, of course it is. It's time for me to be off. It's getting late.
Now, Santa, you stay right there in that chair. You know as well as I do that you can't go anywhere tonight. It's impossible.
Nonsense. I've got to go.
Come on, oh Santa dear, o'er all the world you'll fly. We will help you get onto the sleigh. You'll be off in a blink of an eye.
Yes. No. I don't know. I feel dizzy, my head stuffed up, and my nose. Achoo!
There you see you're sneezing again. Now you just stay right there in that chair.
But Mrs. Santa Claus, what about Christmas?
It's time for Santa Claus to go. It's no use. He can't go. He knows as well as I do. Here, let me tuck that blanket around you, Santa.
You mean there won't be any Christmas this year?
Of course there'll be a Christmas, but he won't have any part in it. Now, Santa, don't you try and get out of that chair again.
Mrs. Claus tucks Santa in his chair one last time and heads out of the room.
Mrs. Claus, just where are you going?
Never you mind, Santa.
Oh dear, no Christmas, Jolly. I can't believe it, Holly. Oh, Winky, I'm going to cry. I know, Blinky, so am I. Oh, Dingle, what can we do? Jingle, I wish I knew. Mistletoe feels so blue.
Santa begins to sneeze again, and the elves run to him.
Achoo!
Santa, can we help you?
No, I just feel miserable. Utterly miserable. No Christmas. Imagine it. No Christmas this year.
No Christmas! No Christmas at all? No Christmas anywhere? No Christmas for the children? No trim tree? No filled socks? No Santa Claus? But there must be some way. What can we do, Mr. Santa? You ought to be able to figure something out.
I'm sorry. There just doesn't seem to be any hope.
But Mrs. Claus said there'd be a Christmas, didn't she? How can there be a Christmas without Santa Claus? But what did she mean then?
Maybe she's going to send all the presents to the children.
Why, yes, through the mail. Special delivery.
No, that wouldn't do at all. The children get presents through the mail from their aunts and cousins and grandfathers. They're used to that kind of presents. It wouldn't mean a thing to them.
Suddenly, Mrs. Claus enters the room, dressed in one of Santa's red suits, a cap, and carrying a big pack over her shoulder.
Why, it's Mrs. Santa Claus. And she's wearing trousers.
Certainly, I'm going to deliver the presents.
But Mrs. Claus, I won't have it. You've got my other suit.
Certainly, I have. As Jingle said, I'm wearing trousers.
Well, I simply won't have it. I won't have it, I tell you. Such a thing never happened at the North Pole before.
Now, dear, don't get excited. It's not good for your delicate condition. Lots of women are wearing pants out in the world, only they call them slacks. I'm going to do your job tonight.
But it's unheard of.
And while I'm gone, you and the elves can get Christmas ready here the way I usually do. Here's the list.
Mrs. Claus hands Santa a long list of things to do.
But...
Now, no buts. Roast the turkey, fill the stocking, smash the potatoes, don't burn the gravy. Well, it's all there. Just follow the directions. I know it's more work than you usually do, but at least you'll be here in the warmth. I'll be back for Christmas dinner.
I won't allow it. I won't allow you to go.
Would you rather there not be any Christmas and have all the children disappointed?
She pauses, waiting for an answer, and hearing none, says,
I thought not.
But...
Now, don't argue. Lots of women take over their men's jobs when they have to, and I ought to be on my way.
But have you got the addresses? Will you know?
Of course I'll know. Just stop at every house.
But certain things go certain places.
I won't mix them up, and even if I did, someone might like a surprise.
Yes, a surprise?
Mrs. Claus starts for the door, but turns once more for a last word.
Well, I'm off, and if any child peeks, there will be no harm done. I guess I can pass for a Santa.